Today we are going to learn about Newton's third law of motion. Sir Isaac Newton was an English physicist who discovered three laws of motion. Newton's third law of motion states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. In other words, we can say that if object A exerts force on object B, then object B exerts equal and opposite force to object A. Here are some examples, daily life examples of Newton's third law of motion. Like we know that Newton's third law of motion can also illustrate or explain the rocket propulsion or the recoiling of the gun. Or while we are walking, our foot pushes the ground downward, downward with pushing force, that is the action force of our foot, and the ground in turn exerts a force upwards, that is the reaction force acted by the ground, which helps us in walking. Now, the second example about the third law of motion is that when the bird is flying, as we know that bird is flying with the wings, the wings exert pressure downwards towards the air, and thus these act as an action force of the wings, and this air which is upwards exerts an upward force towards the wings. Wings exert downward force and air exerts upward force, which says that it has equal and opposite reaction, and this air exerts the reaction force. Let's take two balls and experiment this third law of motion. Now, this blue ball is a moving ball and this orange ball is a stationary ball. Now, let's see what happens. This blue ball starts moving and it pushes the orange ball. Now, what we have seen that this blue ball slows down as it pushes. While it pushes the orange ball, it slows down its speed. Why is it so? As it is the reaction force between the two objects. Now this orange ball starts moving because of the reaction force after dashing of both the balls, and so this explains the third law of motion. Let's take one more example of Newton's third law of motion. This is example of swimmer and a diving board. Now, when swimmer jumps on the diving board, he acts as a pushing force towards the diving board at backward, at downward, and then he acts as an action force. And then the diving board comes down and then pushes the swimmer upwards, which helps him to fall in the swimming pool. That is shown below. Do you know that Newton's cradle is one device named after Isaac Newton? Let's learn about Newton's cradle and third law of motion in deep in next module. And wish you very happy Teachers' Day to all my respected teachers.